Hi, Algebra 1. This is 2.7 notes that we'll do. All right, so we want to solve these. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. We're going to treat the inequality sign like an equal sign, so bigger than 15. So you have 0 here, you have 15 here. It's going to have an open dot, and it's going to shade to the right, and so that's pointing to positive infinity. Okay, the interval notation is going to be a soft bracket at 15 to a soft bracket infinity. Okay, that's not a point. I'm going to divide both sides by 7 on this one. So if I have 0 here, I have 2 here. This is an open dot. This is going left. And so that's pointing to negative infinity. Read this left to right. So it's going from negative infinity to 2, soft bracket at the 2 because we'll have the equal sign. We're going to subtract 8 from both sides first here. Again, treat the inequality like an equal sign. Divide by 2. So x is less than or equal to negative 4. So if I have 0 here, negative 4 here, I have a solid dot right here. And I'm going to, solid dot, and it's going to go to there, so that's pointing to negative infinity. Read it left to right, so negative infinity to negative 4, hard bracket at the negative 4. All right, when you have the letter on the left side, you can go ahead and solve it. So these are going to reduce, and I'm going to get this. So I'm going to flip this whole thing over, including the sign. So I have 0 here, I have 6 here. This is an open dot, and it's going to shade to infinity. So it's going to go from soft bracket 6 to infinity. This one, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So that's 9 is less than or equal to x. Flip this whole thing over, including the sign. So I got 0 here, got 9 here. There's a solid dot here, shading to the right. So this is going to be a hard bracket from 9 to infinity, because that's pointing to infinity. This one, I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides first. So that's going to give me negative 6 is greater than 2x. Divide each side by 2. So negative 3 is greater than x. So flip it over, including the sign. So I have an open dot here, and I'm going to shade to the left. That's pointing to negative infinity. So read it left to right, negative infinity to negative 3. Soft bracket on the 3 because I don't have the equal sign. All right, so if we think about this, if I divide each side by a negative, if you multiply or divide by a negative, this sign has to flip over. Okay, so we want that to be correct. I'm not worried about plugging it into here. So those are a few things. So if you multiply or divide by a negative number to get x, or to get the letter, to get letter variable alone, the inequality sign has to flip over. Okay, that's just if you multiply or divide. So let's take a look at these. Again, you should try these first before doing the homework. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I get x is greater than 9. And then, so we're going to go from 9 to infinity. We don't have to worry about graphing it. Soft bracket on both. We don't want values bigger than 9. This one, I'm subtract 3 from both sides. Flip the whole thing over. You're flipping the whole thing over not because you're multiplying or dividing by a negative, but it's going to go from 1 square bracket because I have an equal sign. It's going to the big numbers to infinity. Add 2 to both sides here. That's 0. So I don't need to do this. So I want values that's pointing to negative infinity. So it's going from negative infinity to 0. Soft bracket because I don't have an equal sign. Divide each side by negative 9. Okay, we're divided by negative, so the sign has to flip over. Okay, and I get negative 3. That's pointing to negative infinity. So it's going to go from negative infinity to negative 3, square bracket because I have an equal sign. This one I'm going to divide each side by 12. That's 5 is greater than x. Flip the whole thing over to get the x on the right side, including that. So that's pointing to negative infinity. So it's going to go from negative infinity to 5, soft bracket because I don't have an equal sign. I'm going to multiply each side by negative 8. Those cancel. So I'm going to get negative 40. Sign has to flip over. Now, so I'm going to do another flip. I'm going to flip this over to get the letter on the left side. So if I have 0 here, negative 40 this way. Okay, so we're shading that way. So we're going to negative infinity. So interval notation is negative infinity to negative 40. Soft bracket on the 40. Parenthesis. Number 7, we're going to divide each side by negative 3. This is going to go ahead and flip the sign over. So this is pointing to infinity. So this is going from -5 to infinity. Divide each side by 5. 5 times 6 is 30, so that's going to be 6. So we're pointing to infinity. So it's going to go from hard bracket 6 to infinity. This one we're going to subtract 11 from both sides. Divide each side by 2. Now, this is not negative, so the sign's going to stay the same way. So it's going to go from -4, soft bracket, because I don't have an equal sign, to infinity. On this one, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 4 over the parentheses. Add 4 to both sides. Divide each side by 4. So x is less than -1. So this is pointing to negative infinity, so it's going to go from negative infinity to -1. What's half of 2? It's 1. What's half of -6? -3. Add 3 to both sides. X is greater than 8. So that's pointing to infinity, so it's going to go from soft bracket 8 to infinity. I'm going to distribute the negative over these, because that's going to give me -8x minus 20. It's greater than -9. Let's add 20 to both sides. Those cancel, so -8x is greater than 11. Divide each side by -8, so the sign has to flip. So we're going to get -11/8. So that's pointing to negative infinity, so it's going to go from negative infinity to -11/8, soft bracket. Okay, number 13, a middle school student should have no more than 4 hours of homework. Ooh, that's a lot of homework. So they should have less than 4 hours, no more than, so they can have up to that 4 hours. Okay, and then draw the graph. So we're going to go 0 here, 4 here, solid dot. That shades this way. So that's going to negative infinity. And the interval notation is negative infinity to 4, hard bracket on the 4. The optimum school temperature is between 65 and 75. And these are nice when they're set up this way. You're just going to list 65 here, 75 here. We want between, so these are both open dots, so we're going to shade in between. So the interval notation is going to go from soft bracket 65 to soft bracket 75. The amount of water in a 20-gallon fish tank is decreasing. So it's going to, if it gets all the way empty at 0, we can have 0 all the way up to 20. Okay, it holds up to 20 gallons. Okay, so we could say x is less than x, or 0 is less than x is less than or equal to 20. We do this on a number line. We have 0 here, we have 20 here, solid dot at both. There it is. Cat naps at least 12 hours a day. Ooh, that'd be nice, huh? So at least 12 hours a day, so they can do more. So at least 12 hours a day. Looks like that. If we do this on a number line, it looks like this. So solid dot here going right. And this is going to go. We have to think about this. There's 24 hours in a day, so this is going to go to 24, isn't it? So I guess the cat could nap all day long, right? So that's kind of a goofy one. So solid dots. So we're going to go from 12 to 24, hard bracket on both. And that should help you. Next time we will go over worksheet 2.8. Have a great day.